today's topic. So, as we all know that we all struggle with dating, all in the Western world, in the Eastern. And today we are going to be talking about China. And China is having it the worst. So, let's see what is the problem that is going on with dating in China, bro.
You ever wonder why dating in China feels, I don't know, like something's just off? Like on paper, everything looks modern with the apps, bars, people posting date nights on social media. But when you actually talk to people, locals, expats, whatever, they'll tell you it's not that simple. Actually, some say it's the opposite. I kept hearing the same thing over and over. Dating feels like a transaction, not a connection. So I started looking into it. And yeah, the more I dug, the weirder it got. A lot of people in the comments say, bro, this is everywhere. I get it. Dating's tough everywhere. But let's be honest. Some countries make it way harder than others. This channel focuses on Asia, so that's where I keep the spotlight. Most of the data I use doesn't come from me. It comes from thousands of expats, travelers, and firsthand reports. I cut out as much Western media noise as possible and focus on raw, unfiltered reality. Now, let's get back to it. So, marriage markets are a thing, and no, I'm not using that as a metaphor. I'm talking literal parks in places like Shanghai, where parents set up posters advertising their sons and daughters. Age, income, house ownership, it's all there. Love, feelings, that stuff's not even on the list. And you'd think that's like an
Damn. So, it's like you are writing a CV, a resume to apply for a job, but instead you are applying for fucking relationship. You write all of your um, age, income, how many houses you have, how many cars you have, your strengths and some weaknesses. What about love? So, Manikas, you are not writing about love. The person that you might get, he might be abusive, and you are writing those things and to go and eh, damn. This is my first time seeing these kinds of things, but let's see. It's other people's culture, so let me not be surprised.
think that's like an old tradition, right? Nope, it's still going strong. Actually, some reports suggest it's expanding. But okay, maybe that's just a niche thing, old school families doing old school stuff. Except it's not just them. I kept seeing the same pattern in personal accounts, Reddit threads, expat forums, whether it's apps or blind dates. The checklist culture is everywhere. And here's the thing that stood out, especially for men. The expectation's pretty clear. You bring the house, you bring the car, you bring the stable income, or you don't even get to the table. Why is it like this? I mean, isn't China one of the most modernized societies now? So why the throwback to like 1950s style marriage checklists? And that's when Confucian values kept popping up. Not in an obvious way. Nobody's out here quoting Confucius on their Tinder bios. But the influence? It's baked in. According to what I found, things like family duty, marriage as a responsibility, obedience to parents, it's still there. Quiet but powerful. And yeah, it's shaping how people date even now. But okay, that's the local scene. What about foreigners? This is where it gets even murkier. See, back in the day, and by that, I mean like a decade ago, foreign guys had it easy. Or at least that's what people say. You stood out, you had novelty, doors opened. But not anymore. According to multiple sources, a lot of locals now see foreigners as unreliable, unstable, or just not worth the long term effort. Some foreigners shared stories of dating experiences where families rejected them outright. Others mentioned, and again, this is their words, not mine, that they felt like they were being treated as wallets, gifts, trips, allowances were expected way earlier than they were used to. Is that everyone's experience? Obviously not.
Yeah, truthfully speaking, nowadays dating it's like transitional. You pay money to get something else. It's no longer about love, it's no longer about anything. If you have money, you have a higher chance of dating someone beautiful. But if you have less money, you are going to suffer. The rest of you and your family are going to suffer because you don't have the money. And now everything is money wise. Money talks. It's like the saying that money, time is money. Without money, you cannot do anything.
but it came up enough times in forums and videos that it's a pattern worth noticing. And I gotta admit, this is the part that kind of threw me. Because while the dating app economy is booming in China, like billions of dollars booming, users keep saying they feel disconnected, emotionally empty. So many stories about ghosting, shallow conversations, endless swiping, and still feeling like they're stuck in the same loop. So, what's going on? Well, based on the reports, a lot of it comes back to the system. Apps designed to keep you swiping, not settling. And then you stack that on top of the already heavy family and social pressures, dating starts feeling like a hamster wheel. But here's what I noticed that most people don't talk about. Locals aren't exactly loving this either. Men are under pressure to prove their marriage material with financial checklists they can't afford. Women get hit with family deadlines. Get married before 30 or else? And while there are people pushing back, it's still the minority. I read accounts from some younger people who are trying to say no to the checklist culture. They
Yeah, to tell you the truth, if you are busy chasing after dating apps, you're not going to settle after. You're still going to swipe and swipe and swipe because you have the option of looking, but you should not be using them, uh, dating apps. You should meet people outside, people who are living. What if you are being catfished, or your phone is broken tomorrow because you meshed with somebody and you never get to meet that person again? But if you meet that person in real life, there's a higher possibility of you seeing each other again. Bruh, never. Well, nah, I never use social dating apps because they are dirty and messy and a whole lot of problems.
They date outside the system, refuse the house car game. Some even reported family fallout, social pushback. It's like, yeah, you can reject the system, but the system's not going to make it easy for you. And one thing I want to be clear on, this isn't me dunking on China. Every culture's got its dating weirdness, but what makes this interesting is how structured and systemic it all is. Marriage isn't just personal here, it's a family project. Sometimes it feels like a national project, and that changes everything. So, yeah, on the surface, dating in China looks like a modern love story. But under the hood, it's more like a contract negotiation. And unless you read the fine print, you might not even realize you're playing the wrong game until it's too late. But the story doesn't end there. Because, like I said, some people are pushing back, quietly, under the radar. And if enough of them do, maybe, just maybe, this whole system's going to have to face some uncomfortable questions. And that's the part we haven't seen yet. But it's coming.
What I can tell is happening in China is some people are being forced to get married because they are over 25. If you're over 25, you are called the unmarriable one. You are no longer called the younger, you are old. So, guys, this is the end of the video. If you like the video, please like, comment, and share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Peace out. Then I'll get.